Welcome to Movie Castle Recap. Today I will explain a romantic crime thriller movie from 2014 called Jailbait. Be careful, those spoilers are coming your way. Stay tuned and be cautious. The film starts with Anna, who was living in the house of her mother and stepfather. She was a very accomplished girl in her studies. She was also talented in playing music. One day she was playing music alone in her room, when suddenly her stepfather came in drunk and sat next to her. Then he started touching her. She stopped playing and she was sad. We see that her stepfather forces her to sleep with him. All the time she tries to stay away from him, but he gets angry at her, hits her and curses her and also her mother. Afterwards he forces her to take off her clothes. She tries to keep him away from her and hits him. By mistake a glass gets stuck in his neck and he dies. She gets arrested and accused of killing her stepfather. In court she starts explaining to the judge what was happening to her. She said that she did not kill him intentionally, but she was defending herself. But she was shocked. When she saw that, her mother was the one testifying against her and telling the judge that her husband had not touched Anna in his entire life. With no witnesses or evidence against her stepfather, the court sentenced her to imprisonment for a period ranging from 4 to 9 years. She collapses and feels unfair because her mother abandoned her. She is taken to a juvenile prison. The prison guards treated her very badly and made her take off her clothes. And then she was transferred to her cell, where she met her cellmate named Ginny, who was a very quiet and introverted girl who read books all the time. Anna asks her how long she spent in prison. She tells her that she has spent 4 years in this prison and has 1 year left until her released. Anna collapses after hearing this, because she knows that she will have to spend the next years of her youth in prison. She falls asleep for the first time in a place that other than home. The next morning in the prison yard, Anna was alone, and a girl named Cody, who was the head of a gang, came to her. She treated her rudely and threatened her. She warned Anna that if she didn't join the gang, they would harm her, but Anna refused. Cody tells her that every choice has consequences. During the dinner time, Anna sat alone to eat, but suddenly Cody's gang members came and threatened her once again. She told them that she was not interested in joining their gang and left them, but Cody pushes her and the food falls out of her hand. Afterwards, she was cleaning, but suddenly Cody and her gang attacked her and beat her. They threatened her that if she reported them, her next punishment would be death. Anna is transferred to the prison clinic. The investigator tried to interrogate her to find out who caused this, but she told her that the place was dark and she did not recognize who hit her. The nurse tries to reassure Anna. She tells her that she must adapt to the circumstances and the place. Anna told her that she wanted to be alone, but the nurse told her that she was in the dirtiest place on earth and that it was impossible for her to remain alone in prison. She also advised her that if she had any problems, she should talk to prison warden Frank. In fact, she goes to Frank. He begins reading her file and discovers that she is an outstanding girl and has a bright future. He told her that he knew that she was different from the other prisoners and that she was not supposed to be among them. He offered to protect her, but there are conditions to that protection. She understood that the prison warden wanted to sleep with her and take advantage of her. She refused and went back to her cell. Jeannie asked her if the prison warden tried to harass her. Anna is upset and says that she is tired of people treating her. Jeannie is affected and tries to stand by her. Then suddenly she tried to get closer to her. She started kissing her and expressed her admiration for her. Anna reciprocated her feelings, and they spent a wonderful romantic night and exchanged kisses. Afterwards she went out to the prison yard, this time being attacked by another gang leader. She tried to defend herself, but she couldn't. After being harassed by everyone, she decided to join Cody's gang and she went to tell them. But one of the prisoners blocked her way, but she beat her to prove to the gang how strong she was. She actually joined the gang. After that, a gang meeting is held, and Cody asks her to beat up the boss of the other gang, who harassed her. Then she allows her to be beaten, and they film her with the phone camera they have, so that the other gang leader can be convicted. After that, she carries out this and beats up the boss of the other gang. They were transferred to solitary confinement, and the prison guards forced her to take off her clothes. She remained in solitary confinement for 72 hours. After that, she is taken to the prison warden's office, and he tells her that he imprisoned her in solitary confinement for 72 hours despite her refusal of his offer. He is trying to pressure her into a relationship with him, in exchange for him not imprisoning her in solitary confinement for 2 weeks. She had no choice, that's why she agreed to his terms. She left the prison warden's office, and she was dissatisfied with what she had done, but she had no other's choice. Then she met Cody, who also started kissing her and spending quality time with her, exchanging kisses and sleeping together and entering into a romantic relationship. Cody promised her that she would protect her. As the days passed, quarrels continued between the two gangs. She was forced to fulfill the wishes of the prison warden, who was threatening her with solitary confinement. She collapses and continues taking drugs. Then her relationship with Jeannie starts to go wrong. After that, she quarrels with Cody, because she was the one who got her into these problems. Cody dumps her and kicks her out of the gang. Anna tries to mend her relationship with Jeannie, but Jeannie refuses to do so because she joined Cody's gang and entered into a relationship with Cody. Anna feels alone, so she goes to sit with a group of addicted girls in prison. She bought drugs from them and felt like she was in another world, far away from her painful life. Afterward, her mother came to visit her. She was not expecting her to come to visit her. After she was the reason for her imprisonment, her mother hit her and told her that she should have been grateful to her husband instead of killing him. She breaks down and confesses to her mother that he has been assaulting her every day since she was 12 years old. However, her mother gets angry with her and leaves her. She continues to use drugs, and she also continues to be exposed to violence from the rest of the prisoners because she is weak. Then after that, the other gang began to take revenge on her and beat her in the bathroom. In her cell, she was feeling exhausted and collapsed. Jeannie warned her that drugs would destroy her life and that she must go to the prison psychiatrist to treat her. She discovered that Jeannie was also a drug addict like her, but she wanted revenge on the gang leader who attacked her in the bathroom. She goes and gets into a fight with them. The fight is broken up by prison guards, and she is locked in solitary confinement again. As usual, the prison warden comes and takes her out of solitary confinement, but in exchange for her sleeping with him. After that, she returned to the cell and she was exhausted. Cody comes to her to check on her. She tells her that the girl she was giving the drugs to has AIDS and that she should get tested. But she was in a nervous state and quarreled with Cody. Jeannie tries to help her stop using drugs, but she can't stop her from doing so. Cody comes to her and tries to stop her, and threatens her if she doesn't stop, she will kill her. Anna collapses, grabs a bottle, and tries to kill herself. But the prison guards manage to stop her from doing so. She was placed in solitary confinement. She was suffering because of her drug addiction. Even she was attempted suicide using eating utensils, but she was saved by the guide. She is transferred to a special room to be monitored. The psychiatrist came to her and decided to put her in the hospital for 2 weeks. Anna saw many civilians who were suffering and lost control of themselves. She is taking medications. The nurse is trying to stand by her and help her. Afterwards, she is taken out of the hospital and she returns to her cell. Her relationship with Jeannie begins by getting back together and sleeping together. The prison warden then calls her and tells her about the talent show they host in the prison every year. He brings her the cello and asks her to play again. She remembered when her stepfather was harassing her, so she broke down and cried. The rest of the prisoners discover that Frank is courting her, so they mutilate her face. She is taken to the clinic again. The prison warden comes and starts touching her. The nurse notices this and discovers that Frank is taking advantage of Anna, so she advised her to stay away from him. But the prison warden noticed that, and so he planned to get rid of her. And the nurse was actually killed by one of the prisoners. After that, the musical show starts, and after the show is finished, Frank sits alone with her. He told her that if she did what he said, he would help her get out of prison next month, because she had a parole hearing indeed. She agrees and sleeps with him. After that, she returned to the cell and told Ginny, but she told her that Frank was a liar. The next day, she receives her parole hearing date, but she's afraid because Ginny warned her that Frank is a liar. So she decided to approach Cody for help her. She asked her to help catch Frank. She gave her phone so she could film him while he slept with her. The next day, she's already filming it. During the parole hearing, Frank praised her greatly, but at the end of his speech, he told them that she had a problem with authority and that she should stay in prison longer. She was shocked by this, so then she showed them the video. The committee was shocked by this and ordered the guards to arrest Frank. The judge apologized to her for what happened to her and decides to release her. She was released from prison, and her mother welcomed her because she discovered that her daughter was oppressed. Afterward, she applied for a scholarship to the Institute of Music, where she excelled and eventually became one of the most famous cellists in the world.